This was a passion product. It bombed. It was a terrible product to sell. And that's why I keep it on my desk. It's the reminder that the first product I sold doesn't define me. I was excited. I believed in myself. I was betting on myself that I could do it. Always get a mentor. I probably would have started selling on Amazon sooner.
Thank you for being on the show, Joey. I'm excited to hear about your story. Why don't you give me a little background about yourself and tell me before you started selling and how did you get introduced to the whole, I'm going to start selling e-commerce idea or get introduced to Amazon. So why don't you go ahead and tell me about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Joey Roberts. I'm actually from San Diego. I live in Austin, Texas. I did life the way you're supposed to. I went to college, I got an internship in television news, and then I got a job at NBC News. So exactly what you're told and supposed to do. It's like you go to college, get your corporate job. I worked in the corporate world, I don't know, it's probably like 15 years, and I was good at my jobs. I was climbing the corporate ladder. It was not about the hard work. I like to work very hard. But what it was is I wanted to work just as hard, but make the money for myself and not make somebody else rich. And I knew the e-commerce world. I worked in digital marketing. I loved everything about products online. I mean, I'm really good at shopping online. Like I just loved e-commerce. And I was like, I know there's ways to sell products online. I need to figure out how to do this. And that was really when it popped into my mind that I wanted to sell on Amazon specifically because I knew that is where people go to shop. So I'm like, hey, there's already people who want to spend money. They go to Amazon because they want to buy stuff. I just had to figure out, well, what can I put in front of them that they're going to want to buy?
Right, absolutely. I mean, 50 to 60% of people already shop on Amazon in the United States, which is a large number of transactions. I mean 50 to 60% of online transactions in e-commerce go through Amazon. That's a large number of customers already on Amazon. And you're absolutely right. It's a great place to start with e-commerce, especially if you're new. It takes a lot of load off of your, how much stuff you have to do, because there's a lot to learn. And if you don't have to deal with the customer service, the shipping, the handling, the storage upfront, and even the marketing to some extent, that helps a lot. And so Joey, when was that? When did you make that decision? When did you make the jump to, start investing in yourself?
Well, I attempted to sell a product in 2017, and normally I have it sitting on my desk, but oh wait, I do have it here. Let me get this. So I keep it near me as this reminder of what I tried. So in 2017, I tried to sell this like silly strap, and it goes around your wrist. Nope. I put it on wrong. It goes around your wrist this way and it connects to a stroller. And my goal was to make sure strollers, my passion product, I should say, was this. And it was to make sure that the strollers didn't roll away from their caregivers. So this was a passion product. It bombed, like completely bombed. It was a terrible product to sell. And that's why I keep it on my desk. I actually keep it next to some other products that I sell successfully. But it's the reminder that the first product I sold doesn't define me. I just needed to learn how to properly find a product to sell, and then also how to actually sell it properly on Amazon. So after 2017, I only spent honestly $300 to $500 on this product. I still have like 100 of them in my garage. So not a big investment, not a big loss. And it's something I get to look at and remind myself about. I hand them out actually to like moms in my neighborhood, and nobody uses them, but they'll walk around the neighborhood and I just see this like strap hanging off. I'm like, put it on your wrist. Hello, your baby could roll away from you, and nobody gets it. Apparently I wasn't solving a real problem. But so in 2020, my actual job at the time of even this strap was I was doing wallpaper and art decor for corporate offices. So I go into corporate offices and I'll decorate with wallpaper. I shouldn't really use the word decorate, but it's like branding and marketing. And I put large scale artwork on their walls. And in 2020, when COVID hit, I wasn't going into any large buildings. So I had a lot more time to think. And I was like, you know what? I can't make any money right now because everything is shut down. But if I were selling products online, I would have lots of money coming in. So that's when it popped back into my head. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to find the right product for me to sell on Amazon, and I'm going to do it properly this time. So I did get a mentor, and that was probably one of the best decisions I made, was to get help to kind of guide me, find somebody who's already had the results you want, and learn from them and from their team and from their connections. It takes a village. It's not one person knows everything. And that is when I went into the outdoor sports category, and I launched my successful brand in the end of 2020, beginning of 2021.
Wow, that's awesome. What an awesome story. And I love to hear that you did not give up on yourself, on your dream. I feel like that's where most people give up. They're like, oh, this didn't work. I'm not going to do this anymore. It was a waste of money and time. But you were like, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to invest back in myself. That is really inspiring. And I would like to dive into it because I hear a lot of stories from people where like, oh, my product didn't do well, and and they just move forward to something else. But
Yeah.
I would like to know, like, let's go into it because a lot of our audience are people who are building their first product.
Okay.
I would like to know, how much did it cost you to invest in your first product? So you came up, it was a passion product, right? Was it?
This is
Um,
a passion product. So my stroller strap was a passion product. My next product was definitely unique, and it was enough of a passion product. And I would have called it a passion product. And now I sell this cream, which is a huge passion product for me. So I before I was like, yeah, I was passionate about that. But now it's like I pour my love and my soul into this. And if I get a bad review, it like cuts me so deep. No, not really. But it's just part of the selling game. But it's like you always just try to improve. And so now I'm really heavy into selling passion products. And I think it took me a bit to understand what a passion product even was, right? Because I think the middle product that I did successful in with 2021, that was an outdoor sports line. And I was passionate about it, but I didn't like live and breathe it like I do my current product line.
how do you do your product research? Do you use like tools and um,
I will. So I actually, yes, I use tools, and the tools are wonderful. I don't start with the tools. I will start with shopping on Amazon, just things that I like to shop for. And that's like the best place to start, because in the search bar, when you type in, like for the stroller strap, if I type in stroller, there will be a whole list of items that people are searching for because Amazon suggests it. And from there, I'll look at the search volume. But just shopping on Amazon for anything child related or baby related, strollers, products, that's always where I start. And then I will also look at Etsy and at Pinterest. And from there, I'll go and look at and validate products on Helium 10, or, I actually have like 3 or 4 different softwares, but I don't always do my product research on the software. Sometimes I will, just for fun, but I like to look at products that influence my life and that I want to use and that I would be proud of. And so I find those other places and then bring them into the software to validate.
I love that. So you get the idea first from your personal experience, because you're a daily shopper. You're like, you know what you're looking for, you know what other people are looking for. Then when you see something, you'll be like, oh, this could be a good product, and you start doing the research. You start seeing like, okay, let me see if there's demand for this, and and you go from there. So I would like to dive into one of those products. Would you like to talk about your very first product, or would you like to which the one that bombed, or would you like to talk about one of the products that that turned the leaf for you and you know?
Yeah, let's talk about that one because that one's cool. It launched and I grew that one to over $1 million in sales in about 10 months. But if I were selling products online, I would have lots of money coming in. So that's when it popped back into my head. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to find the right product for me to sell on Amazon and I'm going to do it properly.
Yeah.
So it was a full outdoor sports line. So there was about 16 products and I really created it because it was during COVID and people were only wanting to do stuff outside. So I was like, how can we make the outdoors more fun and social? And I didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last, obviously, but I thought even through COVID, people are still going to want to do things outside. So I just looked at all different types of sports products and outdoor recreation, I guess I should say, more like, you don't actually have to be like an athlete to use any of this stuff. So that was kind of what I did. And I created in my head this whole like line of products. So I had like 16 products. Not all of them were a home run, probably because I didn't have a ton of time to market all of them. But I staggered the launches and I launched with 3 products right away out of the gate. I can't tell you the exact product because when I exited the business, I signed something that said I wouldn't say what the products are. So yeah, sorry. I was just thinking about that. Like I can't actually like tell you the exact product. One of the reasons is because it was very unique, kind of like you're talking about. It was a passion products that had unique spins on it that could be patented. And some of them did get patents and some did not.
Nice. So you were actually creating something new in the outdoor sports category.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Were you like improving the design or were you creating something like from scratch kind of thing?
A couple things were just improving the design, and there was 3 products that were pretty much from scratch, and there was nothing on the market like it. And that actually was that leaned more into fishing, actually. And so those products were more like unique, new, cool fishing inventions, and they did pretty good.
Nice. Did you do any like market research on those, or did you have like a gut feeling like this is gonna do well?
Well, I learned from my stroller strap that I did need to validate it in the market. So I was just looking at so many products that I did go and validate all of them. I was like, you know what? The keywords are here because it's like people have to be shopping for these products for them to sell on Amazon. And very similar to my product that failed, I didn't want to do a whole bunch of education to explain what the product is, then have to explain why you needed it. I wanted somebody to see the photos and the video and be like, so cool. I want to buy that.
I love it. So you're validating your idea through social media?
Well, I think at the time I was using Viral Launch. I mean, I was just using the tools that are out there to see the data on the search terms to make sure that there was a opportunity in the marketplace there's enough search volume and enough sales
Mm.
for the keywords. So I was looking for keywords because I learned that you do need to make sure that there are some buyers out there.
Yeah, no, that's great because we get those questions all the time. Like, how do you do your market research? And I'd love to get other people's insights on that.
How do you do it?
Well, keyword research is really a good one. And one of the ways we teach in our community, and this is the idea of a passion product, is create something that you really want, but also find the research volume on it is substantial enough for you to be like, okay, there are people searching for this. And that's the key. You find something that's not there but people are searching for it, that's how you get your golden opportunity.
Yes, I also check search terms on Google too to make sure people are looking on Google too.
Yeah, Google Ads is a great one. Helium 10 is a great one for Amazon, and now they've added Walmart to their search engine, which is great. So you can see like how many people are searching on Amazon and Walmart. It's great. And how did you find your manufacturers for these products? Was that hard? Was it easy? Tell me a little
Yes
bit
and
about it.
no. I mean, it's hard, but it's also easy. So for not all of the products. Some of the products, the best thing at the moment when I was just launching and money was tight was definitely to go to China. So it's like, how can I put this together, connect with a supplier, manufacturer in China that can also work with the modifications that need to be done. And so that was it was easy. It was also hard to do because of the trust factor. I wanted to feel like I could trust them. I sourced as much as I could in the US, and I partner with US suppliers, manufacturers as much as possible. And I will say when I source from China, my goal is always to have a backup in the US because 2021 was horrible for supply and demand, and getting containers out of China were months and months behind. So that was a hard lesson I learned is it's great to always have suppliers in other countries that are closer than China. It could even be Mexico, but just something closer if you need things in a pinch. And I sold out of my inventory very fast, and some inventory was like 4 months away, right? Because it's like they have to make it, and then they got to put it on the ship and get it to me, and then it's got to clear customs. So those were big lessons I learned to diversify your suppliers if at all possible.
Did you lose any money in that delay?
Yeah, so when I went back when getting the valuation of my company when I was going to sell it, believe it came out to about $80,000 that I lost from being out of stock for a certain amount of days. Yeah, so it definitely cost a lot. But that's okay. It was a really good learning experience. So going forward with stuff I sell now, I'm a lot better with forecasting and inventory management.
Nice. And were you selling strictly on Amazon?
I sold on Amazon, a little bit on eBay. I sold on my website, which was horrible. It was the ugliest website you could probably ever see. People would ask me to send my website, and I'd say no. I'd be like, I don't have one. So I was so embarrassed how ugly my website was. The website brought in about 250,000 in sales in a year, but it wasn't great. So yeah, I primarily sold on Amazon. I'm trying to think if there are any other channels. I think, yeah, eBay. I think that was it. Yeah.
And how many manufacturers did you talk to? Because you were getting ready to launch 16 products.
Yeah. So I staggered them. So it's like I had my list, but I was only focusing on the first like 4 or 5. You got to talk. Well, for me, let's just talk about like one product that the biggest concern for me, I wanted it to have the right certification to be sold in the US out of China. So I was really concerned about that. I'm like, this has to be absolutely perfect, and it has to have the proper certification. So that was my top priority, was finding out which suppliers actually carry the certification that I need them to have. And I probably asked like 12 suppliers, and I'm not kidding you, only one had the certification.
Wow.
Only one. So some would say, oh, I'll get it. Like we can go get the certification. I'm like, no, I need you to have the certification. This is not a go get the certification. So really, I didn't have a choice in China. I was like, okay, you're the only person who has this, which also pushed me to need to find suppliers in the US or somewhere else. So that was another big push, because it's like, how is this the only person in China with this certification?
That's a very good point, because I was asked this question recently by one of our students, and they're trying to make a food product, consumable product, and they're like, how can I make sure the supplier is making things according to the FDA? I'm like, make sure they have the proper certifications and paperwork to for it to be valid to sell in the US. You don't want to, risk that. Did you order samples in the beginning for that product, for that specific product?
Yes, definitely. Lots of samples. I even would have stuff flown in or brought in from China, and then I would try to see if I could get it to be perfect. Like, could I figure out a way to manipulate it, modify it to be perfect? So yeah, I was trying every way to make it unique and the product that I was envisioning, because I wasn't going to compromise on the design I wanted and how I needed it to look and function. So yeah, that can take a while. and it's worth it.
How much did you invest in samples?
Feel like every sample, just in like general, whatever it is, costs anywhere from like $150 to $200. And then you got to pay the shipping. So I don't know, at least 1,000, maybe a little bit more.
Okay. And did you use the same manufacturer for your package design, or did you use a different supplier for that?
It really depended on the product. Some products I just asked the supplier to send me the carton, and then I had a graphic designer who's my sister. I had my sister just design the carton. When I'm saying carton, but it's a box. They just call it a carton. They just send you the PDF or the editable version, and then you send it back. So I'd have my sister help me with that. It was simple. But then when it came to products that really needed to stand out with their packaging, I use Share It Studios for that, and I've only trusted them to make my packaging stand out.
And in 2021, did you launched more than one product
Yeah, I did end up launching, I think, all 16.
in 2021?
I believe so. Yeah, because I exited that business in the beginning of 2022. Yeah, I probably should not have put up a few of the products because I just didn't have time to market it and do a proper launch. But they were already in product development and they were already moving. So I thought, well, okay, I'm just going to put some of these products up. Not all of those came from China. Plenty of them were made, close by. So it didn't seem too risky if I was like, well, if I put up, I've made 20 of these because it's like someone nearby makes them. I was like, no big deal if I just have 20 of them and try to sell them. So I had products that were selling, over $300,000 in a month, and then products that were only selling like a few units because I wasn't able to pay attention to them.
What was your upfront investment in all these products?
So my first time I tried the stroller strap was only about $500. So that was not a big deal. The outdoor sports was a little bit more expensive. I launched at the retail price of about $200 for my main products. So to buy in China, the product cost me about $50, or if I was buying it in the US, it was more like $70 or $80. So once I started like needing to place real big inventory orders, I think my very first order was, I think it was 25,000 for that business. Was my first inventory order, was 25,000. Now, the products I sell now, I spend monthly to like reorder. I spend about $4,000 and I sell maybe like 500 units per month.
And that's probably, you're selling those at a lot cheaper, I'm guessing, right? What's
Yeah,
your
so the
selling
price
price?
points matter. Yeah, so now I'm selling, like, my main product is around like 30-ish dollars.
Mhm.
Which is that's a sweet spot for selling, right? I probably, if I'm trying to scale a business, I would not go below $30 retail price personally. But I didn't want to be selling at the moment something that was like I was doing before, the $200 to $400 range. Eventually I'll get back to that. But then you're writing bigger checks and the inventory management gets a little tricky. So it's a toss up, I guess. It's like you have to sell less units to get to $1 million. So I always think of that too.
Yeah, did you for that in 2021 for the sports brand, did you create an LLC and you created a brand around it and you launched it on Amazon, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I had the LLC, the trademark on the brand name, got into the brand registry for Amazon and launched.
When did you start your research on that and when did you launch?
So I started the research probably November. Yeah, I remember it was just before Thanksgiving. So November 2020. And then I launched in February of 2021 because it's outdoor sports. So you have to be up and running by March.
I see. So it took you 3 months to get the samples and test it out, design all your like listings and do the photography and
Mhm.
and get it up and ready for launching. So that was your first product in March. And by the end of 2021, you had 16 products selling.
Not, yeah. I mean, let's say more like 9 products that were performing, and then I put
Correct.
up variations of other products. So they were their own product. They were just a variation, and I
So
should not have launched them.
walk me through the first launch in March. So this is after your first product bombed. You
Yeah.
came back. You're like, I'm starting this from scratch. It sounded like a big investment because
Yeah, I was
it's
like, I'll just spend $25,000 on this inventory and try it again. Since my $500 bombed, I'll just go with 25,000.
how were you feeling at the time? Like, were you nervous? Like, did you feel like that was a big investment?
Oh, I felt like it was a big investment. I felt like I was excited. I believed I believed in myself. I was betting on myself that I could do it. I knew I could do it, but I was really nervous because I had a 2.5-year-old that I was at home potty training, and it was COVID, and my husband was working from home, and he kept telling me to be quiet or keep the kid quiet because he's on calls. And then I'm like trying to learn to sell on Amazon while everyone's sleeping. And I was like, I'm just going to put, $25,000 on my credit card and like place this order for inventory. Like it just seemed
Wow.
like a lot of money, and it seemed a little bit scary. But I'm kind of an all in type of person. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for this, and I'm going to give 100%. Like I will not get bored. I told myself I'm going to work on this for 2 years, and I need to build this for 2 years. And yeah, I just hit the ground running. And when it launched, the first day I didn't get any sales, like not a single sale on day 1, which is completely normal unless you tell your friends and family to buy. But this product was too expensive to tell my friends and family to like, hey, go buy my product for $200. Like that's not really cool. So I didn't even have friends and family buy. I just launched and I was like, oh, okay, nothing. And then I ran some Amazon ads. I did some Google ads, and eventually like a couple orders started trickling in, just like a few. I was like,
Okay.
all right, I'm getting some. And then, Amazon's all about SEO and ranking.
Yeah.
And probably 2 weeks in, I think I hit the sales cadence needed on a few of those keywords. Like I'd gotten, 30 sales in the whatever short period of time, like 5-10 days needed. And I was ranking really well for the keywords.
That's in your first month?
Yeah, that was in my first month. So
Okay.
then my first month when I shot up, that was like 2-3 weeks in. So my first month I hit like 40 to 50,000 in sales because I popped up to positions 1, 2, and 3. I didn't really have any reviews. And again, I did not ask friends and family or anybody to buy this. I just was like, the reviews will come, like it will come in. And I didn't manipulate anything. I never actually got that whole year a ton of reviews. I think, but the reviews were very slow to come in. I think combined on like my 3 like winning products, I only in 1 year was like at 130 total reviews. So if you divide that between, 3 products, that wasn't very many reviews, which was okay. I mean, the reviews were good. I just didn't get tons of reviews. And I didn't go in and push the review button either. I guess I could have. I just didn't.
And those were organic reviews from actual buyers. That's
Mhm.
pretty awesome, though. To get that feeling when you get reviews organically. Um, and so tell me about like your experience throughout from March throughout the first year, and how did you start seeing it like, oh, this is working, like month 1, month 2, month 3? Uh, walk me through like the like how was it? Like you're like, oh, this is working. How much?
Yeah, I think month 1, I was like, huh, okay, I'm starting to sell out of the inventory. I don't have any money though, because Amazon hadn't paid out yet. So it's like, I don't have any money, but I'm making sales. And then month 2, I was like, okay, sales are like getting closer to above 50,000 a month. Like this is good. And Father's Day was coming in June. I was like, okay, I am going to turn Father's Day into my Super Bowl because I want every single dad to have one of my products on Father's Day. And so this got stuck in my head and I obsessed over this. I was like, all right, everything I can do. I optimized my listing, my keywords, my advertising, my back end search terms, my Google ads, whatever I could. I was like, I'm just hitting this as hard as possible for Father's Day. So June comes and the beginning, Father's Day is like, middle of June. The first week, I start trending to where I'm going to hit like probably over $300,000 for the month of June. And I was like, wait. And I started seeing the inventory. I was like, I'm going to run out of inventory before Father's Day. Like I'm not even going to make it because I'm over marketing and I'm going so hard and I didn't have enough inventory. And I know people listening are like, oh, poor you ran out of inventory. But that's how you lose significant amounts of money because you're out of stock. And now I spent all this money on advertising for Father's Day and it's saying Father's Day gifts and I'm not showing up. Right.
Mm.
So that's where that was a lesson. I lost money on that because I didn't plan properly. And that was a hard month. Like June being like, okay, thinking I'm on top of the world and I'm seeing all these sales come in and it felt really good. I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm building this incredible business. I'm going to, hire more employees, change lives, build this brand. It's wonderful. And then just to be kicked in the stomach and lose all momentum, everything I worked for and my ranking because I didn't have enough inventory and I couldn't just call a supplier, right? They're in China. It takes like 3 to 4 months to come out on the ship. So that was hard. I mean, that was probably one of like my highest moments at the beginning of the month that my marketing campaign was working and then the lowest. And I felt so defeated and disappointed and like I shouldn't be selling. Come on, I really felt like everybody selling on Amazon was making millions of dollars. I really did. Like I believed that. You see the ads on Instagram and I was like, wow, everyone who sells on here makes all this money as long as they're not selling a stroller strap like I tried. It's like, so I really thought that, and I was so embarrassed that I just like had these great sales and then completely tanked my business. I recovered just fine. I pulled it together to get inventory. So I was really only out of inventory probably for 6 days in June. And then it took me a bit to get my ranking back up. And then July, I did well. July kind of mirrored June a little bit. Like sales were still up, maybe like 250,000 above for the month, somewhere around there. And then after July, I was just kind of like rocking and rolling and feeling like I needed to continue to grow the brand, but also expand the product line. I don't know why I felt so much pressure, like I need to add more products in, but I did probably because I had it in my goal. So I would say when I got to August, that was when it was like, hey, let's start figuring out more year-round products that we might be able to sell. Because my the sporting stuff was definitely spring, summer, early fall heavy. And so sales kind of dipped a little bit in.
Were you doing any social media marketing?
Yeah, I used YouTube, influencers on YouTube. Now, I didn't have a lot of money and the products were expensive, so I wasn't willing to give out a lot of free products. People asked all the time and I was like, I don't know that I can give you just like a free product. I never put my face on social media. I never said it was my brand. I wasn't the target market, right? It was like for men. So I really just use influencers where it would have been a little easier if I like had a social media. I did have, actually to your point, I built a Facebook group that had like 40,000 members. So that was really important to build that Facebook group. That was a big deal.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I get a lot of questions from people like, how do you build a social media page, or how do you start advertising?
I did run ads to the Facebook page and did a lot of giveaways on there. And then it organically, when you have a good product and something that people are passionate about, they're going to come to the page and have their own conversations, but you want to be in there and facilitate it. And then you want to pay close attention and reward top contributors. Like think of them more as ambassadors, and they can bring in more people. They might have a page where they could do a giveaway on, and it kind of becomes like your online community. And I would just say staying consistent, like constantly having conversations in there. And it can't always be buy my product. It really needs to be adding value to the community. And even if it has nothing to do with your product, but it's still about the passion, just contribute and be a human and be friends.
Were you creating like the content yourself, or were you hiring influencers to create the content for you?
Both. I mean,
Okay.
both. It's like if I had cool sunset pictures, like, that's outdoors, or you could show a cool fish somebody caught. Like those were always fun to show pictures of fish people caught. And then people would catch fish with the products and then want to post it on there and be like, look at what I caught. And it's like, no way. And something they all really liked is if I took their, like that fish photo every guy likes to take. Sorry, women might too. And then I would put our logo across it, and then I would repost it on social media. And people loved that because it was like showing off their big catch.
I love that. How much did that cost you, like to run a social media advertising or influencer marketing? Did that cost you a lot of money?
I don't think I ever paid an influencer, probably because the product was super expensive. So if I gave them a free product, I'm like, this is a really expensive product. So this is all I can offer. And if you find brand enthusiasts, they're going to want to do it for your free product. Look, if you have a less expensive product, I totally recommend giving products for free, and you can pay them a little bit of money. But when you have a really expensive product, it's like I was like, there's no way I can give you money and this product because it cost me already like $70 to make.
And because we're running close to running out of time, so I just want to ask you, what are 3 mistakes that you've learned from during that experience that maybe cost you money? I know one of them was running out of inventory, cost you nearly $80,000 because during that time you could have been selling a lot of your products. Also, it affected your ranking, which cost you money in advertising and trying to get your ranking up to where it was.
Yeah.
What 2 other mistakes that maybe you've made that cost you some money?
Yeah, I would definitely say focusing on my products that were making me money and not worried about launching new products. The best way I could put it is that I should have worked on my top selling products, kept those, and marketed them the best I could in the US, and then looked to expand globally. But at the time, I was just looking to think, okay, well, I'll launch another product and it could be another home run. Well, it's only going to be another home run if I can pour the love and passion into the launch that I was able to with the first products. And then I guess I should have asked for help. Like I should have hired people to help me and not be so tight with the money and so controlling about how everything needed to be done. Could somebody else have done a successful product launch for me? Of course, they definitely could have. But at the time, I thought, well, that's just something I need to do because this is a small business. It's me and not a lot of help doing this. So I should have asked for help and got people to align with me and help me. And I ask for a lot of help now, I use lots of different resources to help me.
No, yeah, that's a really good point. So you're saying investing in more products and not getting fixated on one product and not being afraid of asking for help by professionals. And the last thing that I would like to leave you with is, what are 3 lessons or advice that you would give to maybe yourself getting started, that you would, go back and be like, I wish I would have knew this when I first got started?
Yeah, I guess I would like to say, always get a mentor. And I probably would have started selling on Amazon sooner. It's not like 2020 or 2021 was that late, but when it didn't work out in 2017, I really wish I had just thought, what, I should get a mentor and learn how to do it. But that didn't even occur to me until I revisited the whole Amazon thing in 2020. So definitely I would look back and be like, hey, no big deal. Just go find who's done this before and see if you can join their coaching program or align with them. So that's definitely one. And I also would say it's okay to join communities. I didn't join the Amazon community or even tell people I was selling until a year into selling, when I was actually looking to like exit my business. And like it would have been really nice if I'd had other Amazon sellers and people to chat and connect with. I had my mentorship program and I was part of that community, but I didn't go to events and I really didn't open up and talk to people about it. And now I talk about it all the time and I love socializing. So I would just say, I should have been a little bit more open back then, but I was really focused on absorbing and learning so much that I wasn't talking to other, newer sellers like myself at that time. So that would have been really good to do that. And then I was really hard on myself. Like I took things really hard. Like I had crashed and burned, and I I would like tell myself it's okay. Like whatever happens, like I'll get through it. But I look back and like I kind of laugh. I'm like, man, I was struggling so hard and I was not celebrating any of my success. Like at no point was I sitting there being like, hey, I'm actually doing well. I did a successful launch. I'm hitting these milestones. I was just like stressed out and worried about it all the time. And I'm like, hey, let's celebrate like a couple wins.
Oh my God, yeah, I can't tell you how, we're always harder on ourselves. So that's a tough lesson to learn. But your story is so inspiring. I mean,
Oh, thank
congratulations on all
you.
the success. I mean, that's a testimony that this is possible. And I feel like so many people can be inspired and learn from this. And I'm not just saying this, like truly. So like, congratulations on all of it. Good job for, taking a risk on yourself and investing in yourself. These stories are really inspiring, and I love seeing people taking action and investing in themselves. Is there anything you would like to share or say before we close this?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. And I hope my story can help one or two people and inspire them to keep pushing through or start selling on Amazon. Because if I can do it, anybody can do it. I promise. I'm not special. I just kept going.
Joey, thank you so much again. And I hope to talk to you again.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
thank you for having me.